Marvel Studios has a problem, and the problem is Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, I'm not gonna rant about how I dislike this movie already, but how great the movie will turn out to be, it will never ever live up to the hype and rumors surrounding it. And I'm sure they will get heat over this movie. The worst thing you can do is not living up to other people's expectations. I actually am quite fed up with it already. I will be glad when it's 2022 and it starts all over again for Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange movie. Oh, wait. Oh. Hello and welcome to the Podcast of Champions, episode 14. Today we have a nice panel here and we're going to discuss Disney Plus Day. We have Mr. Taylor first. And back to the land of the living, Shadowbiz.
Hi guys, glad to be here.
Yeah. Joining us once again from the MCU's bleeding edge, Jeff Sloboda.
It's so good to have the whole team together again.
Well, not quite. I'm still missing Arch a bit. And last, certainly not least, sitting in his throne room in Hades, Mr. Lord Deathman.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
As I said before, we're going to discuss Disney Plus Day, but first, I would like to invite you all to hit that like and subscribe button and join the forum on sakar.freeforums.net. It's a lovely forum. If you join, you can be on the podcast or review. And, of course, make sure to check out the MCU's Bleeding Edge, Jeff's YouTube channel. We will throw down a link in the description below. So, without further ado, let's hit our first topic. What did we actually think about Disney Plus Day? They made a whole thing about it. They even called it Disney Plus Day week. And we got teasers all week. And then it was Friday. And then, well, I must say I was a little bit disappointed. A few tweets, a few announcements, and a few things dropping on Disney Plus with special looks into the future, which also were a little bit disappointing to me. Well, Lord Deathman, start with you.
Wow.
What did you think about yesterday?
It was a little underwhelming. I think that's a fair assessment of it, but I try to put it in the context of all of the events that you get like this from, folks out there that are trying to promote their stuff. I think this was miles above something like DC Fandom. I'm not really into all these celebrities coming out and kind of hyping up the movies, and then they show you some concept art and crap like this. I got to respect the house of the Mouse House just because they do what they say they're going to do. So while this was underwhelming in terms of the quantity, all the names that you saw on the board at Investor Day, last year, they're materializing and you're actually seeing footage from them. So yeah, I thought it was okay.
Okay. Jeff?
Well, I mean, I'll put it out there now. I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. So of course, I'm aware of, what went down, but I just want to put it out there that, I may not have as much to offer in that direction. But as far as the Marvel stuff went, I don't know. I thought that the extended version of the trailer for Hawkeye was great. I don't know. I didn't have a couple. I had one person on my show last night that was really trying to hate on the Hawkeye Disney Plus series, and I don't know where he was coming from because, at least from what I've seen in the trailers and then what I saw in that extended trailer, that did a lot for me. It really did. I feel like, again, I mentioned this before. I think that the actress that's going to be Kate Bishop is going to be great. She seems great to me. So
yeah, but you didn't expect more trailers
Yeah. No, I get where you're coming from. I mean, yeah, definitely. I figured it was going to be at least like maybe half of what the Disney Investors Day was with Kevin Feige. That was
last year.
I was figuring at least he was going to come out and he was going to do like a maybe drop, some different Disney Plus series are going to be coming out like later on in Phase 5 and stuff like that. Maybe give us more information and details about Armor Wars and Ironheart and all that stuff. That's what I was expecting was that. They didn't do that. They could have gave us more. I don't know about this. I'm kind of surprised that they already announced the Echo series. Mm-hmm. And that's already going to be coming out.
Before we get into too much detail, we're going to cover that later. If you don't mind, I would like to move to Biz first.
Yep.
Biz, let him say what he thought about yesterday. Disney Plus Day.
Okay. Well, I thought it was a bit, like you guys, I echo the same sentiment. I thought it was a little bit disappointing. And honestly a bit confusing because this is Disney Plus Day. It's like, why is there no live streaming event for this this whole it's like because Disney's primarily about families and kids, correct, right? Like they've got the Disneyland, of course, in Florida, and also in what's the other place? It doesn't matter, it's not important. But the thing is, can you imagine parents going to all kids going, oh, let's go on Twitter and check out these new shows? What? There should be a live stream event on YouTube or something, make it more accessible, for the general audience. I don't know, if that's such a wise decision. I mean, I blame kind of Bob Chapek. Probably it's his direction. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But with the new Marvel stuff, I like that. Star Wars, they could have shown a little bit more, but the new content's always interesting. Mm-hmm. But a bit disappointing, to be honest, from a company like Disney.
Yeah, Taylor. Last year we got a great streaming show that lasted for 2 hours or more, even announcing all kinds of stuff, showing trailers, showing footage. That's why a lot of us think it was underwhelming. Do you share that sentiment?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I actually wasn't tracking closely what the plan was for this. At first I thought it was another Investors Day, but it wasn't. It was not that. They never said it was going to be that. It was Disney Plus Day, whatever that is, right? So I really didn't know what to expect. So I went to the streaming service and I saw they had sections for their Disney Plus official stuff, and there was they dropped some new Disney shorts with Olaf and some Pixar stuff. Mm. That's all fine. And then they had the Marvel video with the stuff that you've all already mentioned, and we'll talk about that in detail. But there's no real news other than, I guess they announced, X-Men 97. I hadn't heard of that before, and Spider-Man freshman year, I hadn't heard of that before. So there's a little snippets of news. But I don't know. I think maybe the marketing, they didn't let people, or I just wasn't paying attention. People were expecting more than was being offered, and I'm not sure if they made that clear when they announced this thing. They should have been more specific about what it was.
Yeah, but when they first announced Disney Plus Day, they also specifically said a Star Wars special look. Well, I don't think we got that yesterday.
No. You got an Obi-Wan special look. I
guess. And I think the Pixar special look was also a bit underwhelming. It felt a bit underwhelming to me. But okay. Well, let's talk about actually the part of Disney Plus that actually had some news. That was Marvel Studios, luckily for us as Marvel fans. Besides the shows we already knew about, they also announced some new shows that were not officially mentioned before. What is season 2? Well, okay, we kind of expected that. But then in further animation shows, Spider-Man Freshman Year and Marvel Zombies and I think we were all very excited to hear this. X-Men '97, the cartoon, which will pick up exactly where the X-Men cartoon from the '90s ended, and they will continue. They've even brought in the same people to produce it. Live action shows that were not known to us officially. There were actually only two. That was the Echo show and Agatha, House of Hardness. Well, let's see what we thought about those shows, those announcements. What are we looking forward to, and what don't we care so much about? Biz, you go first.
Okay. I can't say I'm that interested in the Spider-Man animation freshman year. It sounds intriguing. At first, when I saw that, I thought it was the rumor actually came true that they're building up Spider-Man like with 9 movies. Like the first was like in high school, and then college, and then adult life. But yeah, it wasn't to be. So I guess I'm the show that I'm really looking forward to is probably, out of all of them, is probably Echo. That seems interesting because I did a little bit of background on that, and it's basically about it's about Kingpin's daughter. I mean, well, supposed daughter, and she's like a Native American and also deaf at the same time, which I thought was a little bit hilarious, but because I know what they're trying to do there. But sorry, I just couldn't help it. But yeah. Yeah, but she seems like an interesting hero. She's she's attached to the Phoenix Force at some point. She has like expert, I think, martial arts skills, like an expert pianist. So that's a bit interesting. Yeah, out of Agatha Harkness, which was that's a very surprising show, to be honest. I didn't think they were gonna lean into that character, but that will be interesting too. Like I guess Wanda maybe might appear in that again. Yeah, but like I'm not too and also with what was the other show, the animated
Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, exactly, zombies. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that because I love zombies. That zombies episode in What If. So yeah, definitely.
That's right, Grandmaster. Take that.
Yeah. So. Don't gang up on me, okay? But okay. Well, Taylor, Agatha, House of Hardness. Will it continue where WandaVision left off, or do you think it's a prequel?
If I had to guess right now, obviously we don't know anything except what the logo looks like. But if I had to guess right now, I'd say it's probably a prequel.
Okay. And anything that excites you in the lineup that they announced, the new shows?
Yeah, well, the Agatha video, or the Agatha show excites me a lot because I absolutely loved WandaVision, and I loved the character, and she really was a breakout character. I mean, that character is all over the internet. She's in car commercials. She's, they're playing the Agatha song in car commercials. So it was a breakout character, and I'm glad that they're taking advantage of it. And she's got a long, long history that they can delve into and expand the magic corner of the Marvel universe. So I'm definitely excited about that. As far as the Spider-Man freshman year, I thought the exact same thing as Biz did. I thought it was college freshman year until I saw the little snippet of the scenes from it, and I said, "Oh, it looks like high school freshman year." So that was, I would have rather it be college, but I'm sure they have movie plans for him going to college at some point. So it's probably for the best. There have been so many Spider-Man cartoons. My entire life story can be written based on one Spider-Man cartoon to the next, literally starting in the year of my birth, 1967, with the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon. And they all kind of hang around for a little while and then they go away. I've actually been watching some of the older ones on Disney Plus recently, working my way through them again. Mm-hmm. So another one. There have been some really bad ones, honestly, and there've been a lot of really good ones too. So hopefully this will be a good one now that Marvel Studios proper is producing it. I'm sure it'll be pretty good. Echo is interesting. Well, thank God, finally, all of the female Native American deaf people finally have a hero that looks like them. Thank God. They've been waiting all this time. I'm sorry, but
this show is definitely not woke.
It's interesting. Which tribe is she, though? Because each tribe has to have representation. There's only 500 of them, so we need 500 characters. But it's interesting that she's a spin-off of Arrow, Hawkeye. She's a spin-off of the Hawkeye show, apparently. She's going to play a major role in that. And obviously, MCU, or Marvel Studios, has pretty much decided we don't need to wait for critics or audience reactions. We know it's going to be good. We're going to do a spin-off before the show even comes out, which just goes to their confidence. And you can't really blame them at this point. So I'm excited about that. X-Men 97. Well, I would rather see that than to see the X-Men in the live-action MCU. So as long as they can keep pushing that off as long as possible, I'll be happy. Use this as an excuse to give people their X-Men fix so that we don't have to see Charles Xavier touching his temple in the MCU anytime in the near future. Okay. That's all I'll say about the new shows.
Well, I'm going to track back to Spider-Man freshman year, and I'm going to go to Lord Deathman. Yay, we're going to get Uncle Ben get killed again, but now in animated form in the MCU. So everybody happy, everybody wins.
Spider-Man year one.
Yeah. The animated content that they're doing really strikes me as kind of like curiosities. I'm not really sure who made the call to revisit the X-Men 97 or, why we need a freshman year Spider-Man animated series. I will say that I'm really looking forward to the zombie series, and the only thing wrong with the zombies is that it's not live action. They should have really pushed all the way with that concept and just decided to do it. But not
Marvel
too excited
Studios
about what they. Yeah, I think that's the crossover we need in live action in terms of fandom crossovers: Walking Dead and Marvel Studios content. But not super excited about the animated stuff, but I will be keeping my eye on it. And again, I just feel as a company, Disney has this incredible focus where they release something like WandaVision. They see they have a breakout character like Agatha, and then Agatha gets a show. It makes sense. That's why this Echo situation is kind of an outlier. That feels like what the competition would do, where it's like, oh, we haven't even released Suicide Squad, but Peacemaker's going to get a show, and we're pretty sure you're going to love it. So Echo feels like the first decision that they've made that, really isn't based on the character actually organically becoming popular. But the smaller snippets that I saw of things like She-Hulk and Moon Knight, it's really hard to over-scrutinize it because we didn't see a lot of footage, right? Like, I get the tone of those two shows. I'm on board for it. I'm there for it. Miss Marvel looked okay. But if you're kind of going out on a limb to say, oh, it looked like it sucked, or, it looked like it was fantastic, you'd really be, walking a tightrope. It's like, dude, it was like, 30 seconds of actual footage to contend with there.
We're going to get into that a little later in the show, but in a more extended way, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else you wanted to say about Agatha or...
No, I will volunteer, though, that I think everyone should have calibrated their expectations a little better for this because it wasn't Investor Day. I'll close by just saying that I'm surprised we didn't get more Star Wars content only because they underperformed as far as the street's expectations on subscriber growth. So this seemed like strategically it would have been the moment to do a huge content dump to give Wall Street confidence, even though they underperformed in terms of their benchmarks.
Yeah. Also a topic for later in the show, but Jeff, you get to finish this section up. The new shows.
I've got some breaking news too. I actually figured out, based off of my review for the Eternals the other night with Lord Deathman, that his actual real identity is he is Chloe Zhao's cuck boyfriend. And essentially they want to hide his identity based off that. So I think Lord Deathman. Who the frig literally? Oh, look at Taylor laughing. So who the fuck actually asked for Agatha Harkness a series? Like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? Like, seriously. Like, what is this? Like, I'm sorry.
Jeff, you got to open your ears up because like 2/3 of the fandom asked for this show just
Whatever.
on the strength of hearing a theme song. I'm not even one of the dudes who asked for it, but if you're looking for the soy boy cuck, maybe you want to look in the mirror. That's all I'll say there.
Shots fired.
We're gonna cut this part out, right?
Yeah, please.
No.
Gentlemen, let's keep it civil. I didn't see your Eternals review yet, but I figure you guys were not on the same page.
No, Lord Deathman knows that he's my brother, and I love him to death. So I just gotta.
Yeah, we're just breaking balls, guys.
Yeah,
me
and Deathman like to bust balls occasionally, but no. I don't know what the look as far as the Agatha Harkness series goes. I get it. I do understand the popularity of the character and everything. I understand the sort of. I mean, I felt like Monica Rambeau was the standout for me of WandaVision. Like, that's who I felt like was the character that elevated herself the most. To where I'm really kind of wondering where they're going to use her before she's in the Marvels.
Marvel, I guess.
Yeah, but it seems to me like they're kind of rushing the Echo series a little bit, like, and I'm wondering why. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of surprised a little bit. I'm shocked at the velocity of how quickly that they ended up dropping that during the Disney Plus day, and I mean, hey, you know what? Like Biz already said, Biz pointed out all of like the really cool characteristics about the character. Like, I mean, she sounds like a really interesting character. If this means that we're going to get more Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, then I'm down for that. Bring him in the series. I mean, he'll take it over. Like he did on Daredevil.
Yeah. Has he officially been announced, or is it just heavily rumored?
It's just what he's validated it himself on Twitter and said, yes, I'm going to be in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. He said that.
Okay.
But, no, Marvel Studios has not officially announced that he's going to be a part of the cast. So we'll have to see what happens.
He's not on the IMDb cast list, at least.
No, I'm aware of that. So we'll see what happens.
Could the Hawkeye or Echo show introduce us to Marvel Studios Daredevil?
Yeah, I mean that's the hopes, right? And that's kind of where I'm at with this. Is just that as I'm looking at like Biz's background, and I'm looking at like the shows that they announced, I'm wondering in my mind, like, what about like the Punisher? What about Daredevil? What about Rogue? What about a Rogue Disney Plus series, or Gambit, or the Storm, or like, you know what I mean? When are we gonna get that? Like, I guess maybe I'm impatient, but. I mean, I feel like there's other characters. What about a Ghost Rider Disney Plus series?
Yeah, we discussed earlier on the podcast a few episodes back, I don't expect the X-Men to come in anytime before 2025.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I think that's a good thing, because the last two X-Men movies, and I'm not counting New Mutants, which was actually kind of decent, but Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, they're both trash. So,
they want to have that separation in between the Fox properties, and I mean, I totally understand where Feige's at with that. But no, I mean, I just feel like basically, I'll echo pretty much everything everybody else said. Lord Deathman made some good comments. Miss Marvel in her costume looked a little bit clownish to me.
Yeah, let's wait with that for a while. Let's talk about that extended scene for Hawkeye first. You can continue, Jeff. What were your impressions about that extended scene?
It was great. I thought it was great. I mean, Hawkeye is one of the original 6 Avengers, man. He's like royalty to me, like, as far as I'm concerned. Like, people can hate on him if they want to, just because he has a bow and arrow and he has no superpowers and he doesn't, he doesn't have super strength. But he's an integral character in so many great films. I mean, like in Age of Ultron, he was like excellent. And so, I mean, for me, he's just like royalty. And like, it's just the same kind of thing like with Black Widow, where when we talked about the Black Widow film, there was like, for me, like a really, really big personal connection with me with the movie when it came out. I feel the same way with the Hawkeye series, and I feel like the footage they gave us was very interesting, and I felt like the dynamic between Kate Bishop and Hawkeye was very, very natural, very organic. It looked good.
Did you, by any chance, and I'm moving on to Taylor, did you by any chance watch the Marvel Legends episode for Hawkeye that also dropped this week?
I did not. I have not been following the Marvel Legends series, and I need to get on there and actually start watching it.
Okay. Taylor, did you see it?
No, I did not. And I'm the same as Jeff. I have not been watching the Marvel Legends. There's just much stuff I'm trying to get to.
Well, basically, for those who don't know, Marvel Legends is a show on Disney Plus that cuts basically all the MCU movies up into like little stories for certain characters. And this week they dropped the 14th episode of that for Hawkeye himself. And actually, when you watch that episode, you really get a good sense of how well the character arc of Hawkeye was executed within the MCU. It actually struck me, and I actually noticed it when I watched it earlier this week. So, what did you think about that scene from Hawkeye? We're gonna get that show in 2 weeks. Are you looking forward to it now, more?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was spectacular. I love Hawkeye, love the character. I've loved him throughout the MCU for all the reasons that we've said. He's an integral part. I love Jeremy Renner in the role. I love the actress playing Kate Bishop. I've loved her since she was in the True Grit remake, which wasn't a great remake in my opinion, but she was excellent in it. And I've loved a lot of other things that she's appeared in. She's just all around really talented. And I think she's going to do a great job. And yeah, it was spectacular. The stunts, the action, the organic humor within it. I think it's just going to be a gorgeous, super exciting 6 episodes.
Yeah, and we're going to get 2 episodes in 2 weeks' time. Be on the lookout for a review series, by the way, for Hawkeye. We're going to do the first 2 in one show. Sport Deathman, any thoughts about that Hawkeye scene we got?
It was fantastic. A huge flex from Disney in terms of giving you a little sense of what the series is going to be like. The camera work in that shot, it was a one shot once they get into the car and the camera keeps spinning around to the different points of view. Tracksuit mafia guys getting back into the car, Haley coming out of the window. And you know, what I'm thinking is this looks great. You know, there's no doubting it. You're getting the level of quality we've come to expect from them. But if you're willing to give this away, right, in promotional stuff, then think about what's to come when you're actually watching the show, what they kind of kept and held back. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I like the fact that this, you know, is for them, it's probably going to be a low budget show in comparison to like Loki or something else where 100 billion guys need to be in front of computers to make it work. So I'm kind of looking forward to this change of pace and getting to some grounded guys and gals with bows and arrows.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we got our first extended look at Kate Bishop, Bish. How did she appeal to you?
Well, because Lord Deathman provided a bit of a description of that extended shot, I realized that I haven't actually seen it. So I've only seen a clip where we saw this kind of like Avengers, like people like in cosplay. So yeah, I watched something different. I didn't realize there was something more. So yeah, I can't say more. It looks good so far what I've seen, like with the other promos. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's also got like a obviously like a Christmas theme to it. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, to be honest, I've never been a huge fan of Hawkeye because with the original Avengers, there's Black Widow, so I thought Hawkeye was kind of like a redundant character because like she's also basically like a super Hawkeye, and even though she doesn't have a bow and arrow, she has her own like tools and tricks. So I don't know. I just never was a fan. I'm sure the show will be great. I'll be definitely tuning in, but it's not one of my favorite heroes. That's for sure.
Give some love to Clint, man. Give some love to Clint. Come on. Well, do we think? No, let's move on. Besides the Hawkeye extended scene, we also got our first look at 3 other Marvel shows coming out in 2022. Unfortunately, the only sort of release moment we got was for Miss Marvel. It's coming in the summer of 2022. It made me very happy that footage for Moon Knight and She-Hulk was actually before Miss Marvel. So there's hoping we will get something in the first 6 months of 2021 for Marvel Studios on Disney+. Well, Lord Testman, I'm going to start with you. Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. How did it look to you? Did it appeal to you in those 30 seconds? Because if you cut them all up, it's about 30 seconds of footage we got. Did they hit the mark?
Well, before we get there, I just want to, because of Biz's hatred for Hawkeye, I just want to stand tall
hatred is going a bit
do with
far.
the bow and arrow. I mean, his scene in Age of Ultron recruiting Scarlet Witch, that's one of the best moments in the MCU period. I just want to say Hawkeye's a great character. So end rant right there. But yeah, looking at those 3 shows, I have to say I'm the most interested in Moon Knight. And I know everybody is looking for punchy Moon Knight and, throw people out the window. And that's cool because I'm looking forward to that as well. But I like the fact that the little teases you saw there were kind of surreal in that, that whole thing with his reflection, and they're leaning into the identity, the sort of dissociative disorder that he has. So I think they hit the mark there. She-Hulk, I don't feel like there was enough to really comment on it, and I thought they were kind of like cutting off the face of the character, where she's stepping out of the car in the glamour dress, and the other one where you see her. I like that they got the classic, comic book accurate sort of cheesecake costume for her, so nobody's trying to put her like in a smock or some tactical battle suit, so she doesn't look too overly feminine. So I'm like, great, we're gonna get like good looking, legs and hips, She-Hulk. So that looked okay to me, but I do feel like we needed to see more in terms of the special effects. And then for Miss Marvel, that's where there's a disconnect for me. I'm not sure what to make of the show, and the added footage really didn't help because it does feel like they're going for a younger audience. I'm not saying that's going to be the first show that I skip in terms of the Disney Plus content, but it did look like, there's a balancing act in tone that I don't quite get yet in terms of the footage that I saw.
Yeah, Miss Marvel is, of course, a fairly new character in the Marvel Universe itself, and was created to appeal to a certain demographic, young girls. So yeah, it stands to reason that the show will appeal to that demographic as well. But I will certainly be watching. It's a new character. I will be excited anyway. Taylor?
I was very interested in that Moon Knight clip that they showed. It felt like Daredevil from Netflix to me. Mm-hmm. It just had that tone to it, like the Netflix shows. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be as R-rated as those shows are, and I don't think it needs to be to still be a serious show. And I think it is going to be a relatively serious show. So I'm very interested in that. What little they showed of it there, but. I think that was the lengthiest one of those 3 clips, was the Moon Knight one. I was also kind of surprised when they said that Ms. Marvel wasn't coming out until summer of 2022, because at one point we were expecting it to drop this year, and then it was like first thing next year. And now it's summer of 2022. I'm sure they have a plan and know what they're doing in that case. I was just kind of surprised that it's been pushed back again.
Yeah, but
as far
I
as
think
that,
they
I mean,
did that because the Marvels actually has been pushed to 2023. So
they're lining it.
they're bridging the gap between WandaVision,
Okay.
the Marvels, Miss Marvel, and the Marvels, I guess.
And that's
Okay.
confirmed. That's been confirmed by official source that the pushing forward is about the Marvels also getting pushed forward.
Okay, that makes sense then. As far as that little clip, they really didn't show anything. A little glimpse of her in costume, and I've seen a still. Earlier, they had released, or someone had released, a still photo of the costume, and it looked fine to me.
I know you're big on comic book accurate costumes.
Yes, I am actually, but that looked pretty good, and I'm sure that at the early portion of her story, it's a homemade costume. She's a typical, American teenager who doesn't have access to SHIELD or nanotech or stuff like that at the beginning. So it's probably supposed to be a homemade costume, and should look like a homemade costume.
So they're going to do her right, what they forgot to do with Spider-Man.
Possibly. Well, he did have a homemade costume in Civil War.
Yeah, not very long.
The ski mask. But yeah, so that might, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about the character. I've seen her in a couple of cartoons is all. It seems to me like it's kind of a tough character to get right. I don't know if it's the Disney influence. Disney are the world-renowned experts on appealing to tween girls. So if anyone is gonna get tween girls to look at superheroes, Disney will figure out the way to do it. So I'm sure it'll be fine, and hopefully, it'll lead to bigger and better things for her with the Marvels. She-Hulk. Well, it answered the burningest question in my mind is, was she going to be CGI or not? And yes, She-Hulk is going to be CGI, just like Hulk, and that's fine. It's a creative decision, not the decision I would have made, but it's certainly not going to stop me from loving the show. And that's really all he showed, other than. We are going to see a Bruce Banner in the show. Also, there was a little snippet of him, so he's going to play a major role in it as Bruce Banner. It wasn't Professor Hulk. I'm really looking forward to that one. I didn't watch Orphan Black, but I'm familiar enough with her work from that, the actress's work from that. Tatiana Maslany. I'm sorry, I'm butchering her name, but I know she's an excellent actor. And so I'm really looking for that. And She-Hulk, of course, is always a fun character. So all in all, nothing negative from those three little snippets, but they're really too small to say it's going to be awesome at this point.
Would you have preferred if, let's say, they say Moon Knight is coming out in early February 2021, and here's the first teaser trailer? Would that have been better?
That would have been nice. I mean, that certainly would have been satisfying. But I think at this point, the MCU is doing so much, so fast, and it's very much reacting on. It's building. We used to have a expression: "We're building the plane in flight." Doing it as it happens, and I think that's kind of what the MCU is doing right now. So I don't think they want to lock themselves in too early, because they know they're probably going to end up changing stuff as the situation develops.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking they will not do a Star Wars show and a Marvel show at the same time. So it's a matter of what they're gonna do first: Obi-Wan Kenobi or a Moon Knight or She-Hulk, depending on whatever they want to do out first. Jeff, what were your thoughts about those small snippets? Were you disappointed?
Yeah, I do want to put it out there that in an effort to be more inclusive and woke, just like Kevin Feige and Disney and everything and whatnot.
And Grandmaster.
Yeah, I actually asked a deaf chick out, since deaf women seem to be really interesting and big in Marvel Studios these days. But there must have been there must have been a miscommunication between me and her or something, because all I knew in sign language was like that, and then things didn't gel.
Jeff, your mistake was you asked her out over the phone.
Yeah.
She couldn't answer.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Oh, you got me on that, Taylor. You did. That's funny. Anyways, yes. So things didn't work out so well with that. Unfortunately, I have to report. And the chemistry wasn't right. But yeah, so I thought the Moon Knight thing was really cool. I felt like when in one of the scenes that they showed him, I think he was actually dealing with like Khonshu, the moon god, in his mind. Like when that's one of the things he was talking about, like the voices or whatever he was talking about. But I thought it looked. I mean, there wasn't enough of the Moon Knight for me to really be able to get that clear of an evaluation of it. But what there was there, I have to be honest with you, that at least was like surprising. You know what I mean? Like I didn't expect that. That was definitely like new and exciting for me. The She-Hulk stuff was great. What's her name? Maslany.
Yeah.
Yes. She looks great as She-Hulk. I mean, I think that series is going to be good. I've said that before. When we did our phase 4, phase 5 preview or whatever, I mentioned that She-Hulk was one of the shows that I was really optimistic about, and I thought was potentially going to be really good. And that's exactly what I think. And I think that having Ruffalo as Bruce Banner on the series a lot is going to be good. Is going to be good too. I think people, again, he's an original 6th Avenger, so I mean, that's people are going to want to see that, even just based off that, basically. As far as Miss Marvel goes, again, there wasn't enough to really work with. I mean, I'm like my optimism for the show is starting to wane a little bit. Like over time, I'm starting to acknowledge a little some realities to it, but. I'm surprised that it got put off like it did. I mean, I get what you guys said for the explanation, but I thought that at one point Miss Marvel was going to be the series that was coming out after Hawkeye. I thought that was the plan.
And at one point, there was speculation Miss Marvel would come out actually after What If, before Hawkeye.
Yeah, before Hawkeye.
Yeah. So that kind of just that surprises me that they put it off that far. The only last thing I just wanted to mention was just that I'd rather see the X-Men animated series on HBO Max so we can have nudity on the series, because I want the female characters to look just like they did in the comics back in the 90s.
I'm with Jeff on that. Let's get some naked women in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got to look just like they did in the 90s X-Men comics, where every single character, Jean Grey, Cyclops, all of them, Storm, they all have like triple D's and like thick thighs.
And wardrobe malfunctions. We need to get back to, zippers that don't quite work as well as they should.
That's right.
I'm going to zip you up right now. Nice bridge. Biz, did you see the reel of Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel?
Yes, I did. This time I'm most excited for Moon Knight. Obviously, I mean, he'll probably be a breakout character, that's for sure. I mean, Moon Knight, I mean, he's pretty much like the Marvel's Batman, pretty much. So there's not much to dislike there. I mean, like you see him beating someone up, and then there's like this kind of blood trail there. Like, how awesome does it look? It kind of reminds you of Batman. Like, it could be easily Marvel's Batman. I mean, like it's nuts. It's crazy how cool it looks, and also with the surrealism. With like, can't tell like if it's like a dream state or like if he's like crazy or like if it's real life. And then they casted Oscar Isaac, and I've got a theory. I mean, yeah, well, if they casted Oscar Isaac, I mean, this is a show, but I've got a feeling that it could hit the movies. So we'll see what happens with Moon Knight. I'm very interested in where that's going to go and how it's going to, if he's going to be one of the top tier heroes like Captain America, Stark, or Thor. So that'll be interesting.
Mahershala Ali, and I'm raping his name again, but he teased that the on-screen debut of Blade in the MCU is close. Do you think he will show up in Moon Knight? Or do you think Moon Knight will show up in Blade?
it's hard to say, or possibly like there is like a supernatural, I guess, aspect to Moon Knight, like with the whole Egyptian god. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they both cameoed in each other's respective shows, movies. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. But also like with I'm not sure if anyone noticed it, but I didn't really notice it until someone pointed it out to me, like with a YouTube reviewer. The She-Hulk logo changed.
Yeah.
It was before it was like a bit more colorful and I guess how would you say? But I know it was just very different now. It's a little bit more sleeker. So I'm thinking like, was there a tonal change? Because it was supposed to be a bit comedic, so I didn't get that kind of sense from that short snippet. Even though it was very short, maybe they'll reveal the comedy later on.
If you look at the logo, it's right behind you, although it's mirrored. There's like a divide between She and Hulk, and I think they're playing on that a bit.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting if they keep the tone, or that maybe they've made a creative choice where they're going to do something else. As for Miss Marvel, can't say I wasn't even a fan of her to begin with. Like even before the show came out, like when the announcement was like made, it's like I see her as like Reed Richards' powers. So, and then the Fantastic Four hasn't even debuted yet in the MCU, so I'm a bit iffy about that. And then it's like I can't remember who said it, but it does have like a kiddie tone to it. So I'm not really a big fan, but it could be a pleasant surprise. Who knows? I'll definitely tune in for the pilot, but if the pilot's not that great for me, then I'll give it a pass, unfortunately. But I know Miss Marvel will have her fans out there, and yeah, it is Disney after all, so we've got to remember that too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we discussed the Marvel part of what we got yesterday sufficiently, unless somebody has anything to say or to add.
Well, just that Grandmaster. I'm sorry, Lord Deathman. I'll go right to you. Grandmaster, what did I say about Marvel Zombies when we did that, when we talked about it months ago or whatever? Didn't I say that something about I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel does something else with Marvel Zombies at some point?
Yeah, you called it. I am 100% sure.
All right.
Lord Deathman, you also had a follow-up.
Yeah, just a quick one. We didn't talk about logos, which they sort of showed again. So we did get footage for Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Miss Marvel, but there's still Secret Invasion to come. We saw a little bit of Sam Jackson. They've got this new look that I love with no eye patch, and I think they did something in terms of putting a little color into his eye. So I'm still incredibly excited for things like our Armor Wars and Secret Invasion, and things that are still on the board just as logos. Just wanted to throw that in.
I actually the some of the logos like She-Hulk, the new ones are a little bit mad to me compared to the ones we got originally. But Marvel Studios always changes their logos during the production process. The one that got a major upgrade for me was Ironheart. I absolutely love that new logo.
Well, the logo might be the best aspect of the entire show. The rest of it's going to be shit.
Well, we get Riri Williams in the end of 2022 in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. She will make a debut. Well, that was Marvel. And Disney promised us also announcements, or at least a special look for Star Wars. Well, Lucasfilm did drop some things on Disney Plus Day, but it was small featurettes for the Willow show and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and that was it. I must say I was very disappointed. Jeff, I know you're not a big Star Wars fan, so I'll let you give your quick thoughts first. Were you disappointed, or you just don't care?
I mean, basically the way that I look at it is I almost consider myself to be kind of like an amateur Star Wars fan. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be somebody where I would go to jump on like a panel to do a discussion on like The Mandalorian or something like that. Mm-hmm. But based off of what I saw, I mean, I just sat here and watched the whole Star Wars thing, the little, the clips and everything right here on my computer. And it looks exciting to me. I think it's really interesting that that they actually decided to. I mean, I know it's been out there for a long time that we've known it was going to happen. That they were going to go ahead and do the Obi-Wan Kenobi, show or whatever with Ewan McGregor, just because it's such a big time gap in between when he played the character to like coming back to it now. I mean, I think it makes sense, like based off of what you would expect from the character, for him to have some gray hair and whatever. Like I mean, they can basically kind of choose which part of his life they want to go to, but I think that itself is just very interesting that it's been that big of a gap and he's coming back to play that character again. And I think for me, when it comes to those Star Wars films from him that he was in, he was actually probably one of the 1 or 2 or 3 things out of all of them that actually did something for me out of them, like that I got out of them. And, not to like try to go back in time that much. And, I know we're not reviewing Star Wars, but I didn't enjoy those movies that much. Those early 2000s Star Wars films, they weren't favorites of mine. But he was a standout for me in them. I thought he was really good. So
I think you hit the general consensus about those movies. They were not that great, but Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan was actually one of the better things about those movies. Taylor, do you think Ewan McGregor will look a lot more like Alec Guinness, or were you disappointed by what Lucasfilm gave us yesterday?
I like what I saw as far as the Obi-Wan show. They said that it's going to be set 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So it's been a little bit more than that since the actual movie. But, I mean, come on. It's Hollywood time. It doesn't matter. They can say it's whatever time they want. And nowadays, they can age people to whatever age they want them to be. But it looks good. Obi-Wan is great. I actually like the prequel trilogy. I'm not insane fan of them, but I like them just fine. And I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. He was definitely the best choice for it. To try to replace Alec Guinness is no easy task, but they definitely did a good job by bringing him into the role. And I think it's going to be really good. I mean, if it's anything like Mandalorian, I got nothing to complain about. It's going to be great if it's got those production values and those those scenes and those vistas and they said they're going to be on other planets. It's not all going to be on Tatooine. So I think it could be a really huge show, and we're going to get Hayden Christensen in a black suit, I guess, in a helmet, doing Darth Vader. So I'm fine with that. As far as the studio giving us more, I don't usually get into a lot of the behind the scenes studio politics and stuff like that, but I'm just having a feeling that there's not a lot of good things happening at Lucasfilm right now. It seems like they're hitting some speed bumps, and I hope they work it out and get everything done. But they just announced that Rogue Squadron has been delayed indefinitely at this point. That's never a good sign. They always say it's Patty Jenkins' schedule, and that may well be what it is, but it's still not a good sign when their next Star Wars movie is not on the calendar anymore. But they're doing great with the shows. I think Boba Fett's going to be great. Mandalorian is fantastic, and I guess the next one is going to be Obi-Wan. So I'm sure that'll be good. So they gave us what they gave us, and what they gave us was good. But I do wish they'd given us more.
This Hayden Christensen, not the greatest actor ever to walk into a Star Wars movie. He's returning as Darth Vader. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Hayden Christensen. I guess not too much a fan of his acting. I mean, I definitely can understand why people say that, but yeah, I love the prequels. I grew up with them. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit biased, but I like the stories in them. I also like to give a shout out to Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan's master. We need to remember that guy. But Obi-Wan's like, a fan favorite. How can you not like him? He's that kind of like, got that kind of disposition, that character. Like, so it'll be good seeing Obi-Wan again. Anakin will be interesting because I saw like there's like a debate online on YouTube on one of the videos. They were saying like how it might affect the Star Wars continuity, because apparently when Obi-Wan and Darth Vader met in A New Hope, that was apparently like, since, I mean, they haven't met until that battle in Mustafar, that duel. So it's interesting, but it's a bit open to interpretation, because I saw like they both had good arguments. So we'll see how that plays out with the Star Wars fandom at large, because the fandom can be toxic. From what I've heard, from one of the most toxic fandoms in like media culture fandoms. But yeah,
well, I will take your Star Wars fandom and I will raise you the Spider-Man fandom, but that's those guys are worse.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it.
They can fight over the suit, man. They can fight over the suit, the color of the suit, like they're fashion critics or something. Yeah, I'm going savage on Spider-Man fans.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, what else is there to mention? Yeah, you didn't get a lot from the Obi-Wan snippet that we got. Like, you see Ewan McGregor saying, "Oh yeah, fans have been waiting for this." Like, great. I could have said that easily too. Like, give us some actual information.
Give us some footage.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's right.
The show's supposed to come out next year. Come on.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised by Taylor's comment. I didn't know that with Rogue Squadron. I mean, did they delay it because of Patty Jenkins, like with the reception of Wonder Woman 2? So that is interesting.
Yeah, they saw Wonder Woman in 1984, and they didn't want to have like a rape scene in Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, that was very questionable, and she should have known better into this type of environment too. But it is what it is. I like the movie, in spite of that, but yeah. Not a lot of fans of Wonder Woman 2, unfortunately.
Yeah. Lord Deathman, are you a fan of Wonder Woman 2?
Nice.
Maybe about as much of a fan of it as Jeff. But, that being said, I know why Rogue Squadron has been delayed indefinitely. It's because Wonder Woman 2 sucked. And the studios are walking that decision back. They're like, yikes. They read a little bit of the Rogue Squadron screenplay, and she has like a female character, and she's like, oh, and when she's about to get into the cockpit of the jet, there's like 3 guys that are going to try and rape her. That has to be in the movie. If that screenplay, resembles Wonder Woman 1984, I'm totally on board for indefinitely delaying Rogue Squadron and never having it be made. But as far as the Star Wars fandom and what we got out of, Disney Plus Day, I put myself in Jeff's category of Star Wars fandom. I'm like an intermediate dude. I can't tell you the lineage of all the Sith Lords and, since the beginning of prehistory and Star Wars and all that. But I enjoy me some sabers and dog fights and whatnot. But I think that given the state of the fandom and how polarized they can be between the older fans and the newer fans, this was the right amount of content to release at this particular moment in time. I think for Christmas, they might do something bigger and we might get more trailers and more looks at this around the holidays where everybody's a little less prone to destroy each other. Unless, of course, you hate the holidays or whatever. But there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pike for Star Wars. That's a fandom that will eat well eternally. Under the Hood, that documentary looked great in terms of, going through why Boba Fett's such a beloved character. I mean, they've got tons of new shows coming. So I think they have to sort of take this one on the chin that they didn't get a lot of content at this event, but it's coming. It's not like Lucasfilms is sitting on their hands. It's not like they don't know what to do. They've had huge wins on Disney Plus, with The Mandalorian, and they're going to capitalize on that. They just have to wait. I think Star Wars fans just have to be a little bit more patient.
Okay, I'm going back to Taylor because I have faith in Taylor. Taylor, did you ever watch the Willow movie?
Yes.
And are you looking forward to the Willow show? Did you watch the little featurette for that show?
I did watch the little featurette and I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really funny. I thought Warwick Davis was quite funny, and it was nice seeing very young supporting cast that he's got there. Okay, that's fine. Willow is a family fantasy action adventure thing. So
and they
some of the actors.
Aaron Kellyman back in the show.
That's right. Harley. Harley from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. And from Solo, she was in Solo also. So yeah, it didn't tell us anything about the show, but we know what the show is. The show is Willow 10 years later or whatever, however many years later they're going to set it. And I think it'll, I think it's right up Disney's alley. Yeah. And I think it's a perfect choice for a Disney Plus show.
Yeah, the guy who plays Flash in the Spider-Man Home trilogy is also in there, I think.
Oh, I didn't
Tony
recognize
Revolori.
him. Right, I didn't recognize him, but yeah, you're right.
Is there anybody else who wants to add on to that or about the Willow show, or shall I just finish up?
Well, I just want to let you guys know you don't have a monopoly on having seen Willow, right? I saw it.
Of course.
I saw it. Yeah, and I like what they did with Warwick Davis and that whole thing. He looks great for his age, by the way. Yeah. I was really surprised to see, how fit the dude looks and like he's been taking care of himself. And the young cast that I like that they were leaning into the idea that this is a pretty obscure property and not even the actors associated with it really know a lot about it, but they're enthusiastic. It was cool to see Tony Revolori sort of getting his leading man on with his goatee and mustache and all that, trying to look more adult. I'm not going to pretend to be like, president of the Willow fan club or head of the fandom or whatever. But it certainly looks like if you enjoyed that movie as a child, or if you're revisiting it like me, I didn't catch it the first time around. It's cool that they're bringing back something that, is obscure like that and that, a niche audience might enjoy.
Well, if you haven't seen Willow, I recommend it. And the movie is on Disney Plus, by the way. Taylor?
Yeah, I like the part where he was trying to come up with a name for the Willow fandom. For those 10 rabid Willow fans that are out there need an official name. But the question I have for you guys is, when was the last time you saw it? Because the last time I actually saw the whole movie, I can't remember whether I rented it on VHS from the video store or if I watched it on HBO, like the first year HBO came out. But it's been that long since I've actually watched the whole movie.
I definitely watched it. I've watched it on a VHS, I think early 1990 or something like that back then. I haven't seen a movie since, so before the show comes out, I will definitely revisit the movie. I guess.
It was like one of the first things I watched when Disney Plus came online, because there wasn't a lot of stuff to watch. Mm-hmm. And Willow was like one of the things there. And I just remember that lady like, "You're all pigs. Pigs." And I was like, that should be a meme. You're all pigs. Like, all right. But yeah, it was a cool movie. I don't think that they're making this Willow show in error. Like, no, it'll be nice to have a follow up on that, because it was actually a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, I always like fantasy, so yeah. Let's wrap it up. I want to thank you all for listening and watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page, join the forum on Sakar, check out Jeff's YouTube channel, The MCU's Bleeding Edge. That way, we will never have to miss us, and we won't have to miss you. Bye.